Hey everybody, my name is Adama and welcome to Lilith Astrology. So this is a very important video. Well, all the videos are important, but this is a very important video because this is one of the basics of astrology, and this is also how your birth chart or your natal chart is completely laid out. This is really what sets the tone of your personality and your birth chart. So today I'm going to be talking about the rising sign or ascendant. So basically, the rising sign is when you were born, what sign was at the eastern horizon the moment that you were born. So this is really the lens that you see the world through. This is your personality. This is when you first meet somebody, they see your rising sign. That's why sometimes it's very difficult to guess what sign, what sun sign somebody is because their rising sign is the first thing that you see. So someone can be something completely different than how they come off. They can be a Scorpio rising and then be a Gemini sun and Gemini moon, which is completely different signs. So it's really your presence when you first enter the room. It's when you first meet people. It's your personality. And kind of as I mentioned earlier in the video, the rising sign is what sets up the houses in your chart. And actually, a lot of astrologers write, most of us honestly, write as if the sun is on the ascendant. So basically, if you're reading a Scorpio sun sign, horoscope, you're reading a Scorpio rising horoscope. That's why we always kind of say like, hey, you should read your rising sign as well. So I think this is a very important video, and I'm going to create a 3-part series. The first is going to be our cardinal signs. The second is going to be our mutable signs. Then the third is going to be our fixed sign. So I wanted to kind of break this off in terms of modality. So let's get started with part 1. These are the cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. So our first sign, this is the sign that sets off the whole zodiac, and you can tell that energy with Aries rising people. So this is a cardinal sign, and I'll get into what cardinal means. Cardinal, essentially, these are the signs that usher in the season. These are signs that are the initiators of the zodiac. They have no problem getting something started, taking initiative first, being the leader, and each element has its own cardinal sign. So Aries is the cardinal sign of all of the fire signs. And really, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It rules the self. These people are the children of the zodiac because they are first. And, with a child, what comes first? Themselves. So it's not a bad thing. And, rules who you are and your identity. That's why the first house is all about identity and self, because that's the Aries house. So it's actually pretty interesting because Aries is the only rising sign that has all of the sign rulerships in place. When you really think about it, Aries, when in their first house, Aries. In their second house, you got Taurus. That's the second house in modern astrology and classical as well. Third house you have Gemini. Fourth house you have Cancer, and so on. So basically, your rising sign sets up the energies for your entire chart. Even if your sun may be in Cancer, that Aries rising is a very big part of your identity, because in your first house, you also have Aries. So that really is you and your outer shell, your being. So it's very important to know this information. So Mars rules the sign of Aries. So if you have Aries rising, Mars rules your chart. And Mars is all about aggression, sex, war, action. This is how we go about our lives, the actions that we take and how we do things and get through things. So very, very intense rising sign to have. And everybody has every sign in their chart. That's what a lot of people don't understand, is that every sign is in your chart. There's 12 houses in everyone's chart and everyone has every sign. It's just whether there's planetary placements giving energy to that sign, what types of planets, and then the aspects from those planets is what makes everyone unique. And then, you know, different people trigger different houses and different planets and different things for you. So that's why you may have an aversion to Sagittarius or Libra, because they trigger something for you. So when you are an Aries rising, you have Aries in your first house. So these people are very, I would say for the most part, very opinionated, very straight shooter, go-getter. They can be very athletic and have a lot of energy because they have fire on their ascendant. They are the type of people who want to take the initiative and want to lead. Sometimes they can really be all about themselves, and that can sometimes be a lot for some people who are more, you know, partnership oriented. These are very independent type of people. When you move into their second house, you have Taurus. So, you know, Aries is one of the rising signs that can create abundance for themselves, considering if they have a healthy planetary placement in that house and the aspects that planet is making to other planets in their chart. Having Taurus in your second house, Taurus energy is very comfortable there, so they can make an abundant life for themselves and they can create income for themselves. In the third house, moving on, they have Gemini, which is, you know, a Gemini house. And so these people are, not only are they leaders from having Aries in their house of self, but they can communicate very well. These people, you know, not only are they straight shooters, they can facilitate a good thought, you know, very easily. They generally, depending, you know, we have to look at the entire chart, but this is just straight looking at the energies of the houses. They really love to be social. That is the Gemini side of them, is in their communication. And, you know, they love to have friends. They love to be out. You know, they can, you know, they love to be social and make connections and really can be social butterflies as well. And, you know, the Gemini, another air sign, could trigger the friendship side of their chart because of that third house energy. If they have siblings as well, they probably love to play with their siblings when they were younger and have, you know, relationships. So very, very great energy to have in the third house. Moving on to the fourth house of home and family, they have Cancer, which is the Cancer house, which is very great for home life. These people more than likely had a very close relationship with their mother, especially, you know, I had an ex who had the moon, it was the Aries rising, had the moon in Cancer placed in this house, and very, very close relationship with the mother, like a mom's mom. You know, mother always, you know, go home for holidays, like they would, you know, she would have elaborate dinners and, you know, take care of him and all of this. So very important, the relationship with the mother to these people, and home and family and their emotional foundation is extremely important, especially if they have like the moon placed in that house, or you know, a nurturing planet, or even Mercury can help give a boost to wanting to communicate with their family and stay close with their family. In the fifth house, they have Leo. So these people love a good time. When you have Leo in the fifth house, you love a good time. You love to go out. This kind of goes along with the third house. And of course, it depends on the whole chart. I feel like I have to keep reminding. But when you have that Gemini energy in the third, and then you have that fifth house Leo energy, you love to play and have fun and be social. You can be the life of the party. You know, with all of that fire energy, like there is no putting that fire out when you get going on the weekend with your friends. These people can also be extremely creative, and considering if that fifth house is healthy, they really can express themselves through music or art or writing or any one of the creative fields. I think these people have the capacity to really entertain people and just let that, you know, energy flow through them. So in the sixth house, these people, you guessed it, have Virgo. So these people have Virgo energy in their sixth house. So in terms of their health, like I mentioned, with Aries rising, they, you know, can be very active and fitness oriented, and they need to have jobs and positions that keeps them moving and keeps them active. And this kind of goes along with the sixth house of health. When you have a, you know, Virgo energy in your 6th house of health, you will be more meticulous with how you take care of yourself, how you regiment your day. These people can be very organized and can understand the importance of health and the importance of their diet, and eating properly, and also having a great exercise regimen. These people can also be very helpful to their coworkers, helpful to those around them, and be really service oriented when it comes to going about their day. So it's a very healthy energy, an exciting energy, I think, to have, because who doesn't want to be able to fully maximize their day, and have a lot of energy to do so. So moving on to the 7th house of relationships and partnerships. And they have their opposite sign, Libra, in this house on their descendant. So really, these people are relationship oriented, which is kind of a paradox because Aries is all about the self, but opposing an Aries rising, you have the descendant in Libra. So when you are an Aries rising, you really need partnership, and you need to bond, and you need that energy. Another thing too is in business partnerships, you can thrive very well, and work with people, and really maximize what you're trying to do through the relationship with others. So this is something that's very important to you, and I think that also Libra energy is really all about beauty, and Venus rules a sign of Libra. So, and I'm not saying all Aries risings, but this is just generalizations, people. If you want to hone in on your Aries rising, book a reading. But the spouse, they could really want someone aesthetically pleasing and aesthetically beautiful if they have Libra in their 7th house. It's just what, classically they could prefer as well, is a attractive mate or somebody that they would like to look at all the time. So moving on to the 8th house. So these people have some serious 8th house energy because Scorpio, which rules the 8th house, is in their 8th house. So, we have this bold, brazen fire sign, but with this heavy Scorpio house, these people could also have interest in the occult. They also really, with sexuality, take it to a different level, like with Scorpio energy in their, in that house of death, sex, and transformation. They see sex as a intimate bonding activity. They're not as apt to kind of have sex and see it as a lighter thing. These people really take it seriously and really bond with their partner. So you're going from the relationship house, Libra, to then the, intense bond of Scorpio. And so these two areas of their life is very important to them. Another thing too is they may, depending on the placements in that house, inherit money, or they may, eat more easily than other rising signs, receive money from other people. And they also kind of know what to do with that money and know how to invest it seriously and how to take care of it, considering that they have Scorpio in that part of their life. So moving on to the 9th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius, and Aries rising, of course, has Sagittarius in their 9th house. So these people can really be philosophical, really love to travel and expand their horizons, expand their knowledge through experience. I think that's one thing with Aries energy on your ascendant, is you can be very bold and brazen and just take off somewhere, be like, I'm moving to Bali for a year to find myself and explore. They would have no problem doing that with having such fiery energy on their ascendant, and then such an, intense energy, Sagittarius in its home house. So, these people really think it's important to experience and to just kind of go head first into things, which may not always be the best thing, unlike, maybe a sign like Virgo, which kind of plots and plans a little bit more. But when you have Sagittarius energy in the 9th, this is something that, you have to do. And this is a release for you to be able to travel and meet new people and experience new things and broaden your horizons. Another thing too is these people on one hand could also be very religious. They could also take not just philosophical views very seriously, but religious views and how they have been taught to see the world through their family or through their parents, and from their lineage. So this is another important thing to them. Higher education could also be something very important to Aries people. Maybe going to school far away from their family and having that individualistic energy to be able to explore themselves and focus on themselves and growing and learning and experiencing the world for what it has to offer. So very, very fun. So moving on to the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn, and they have Capricorn in their 10th house. So bold and brazen Aries rising is also bold and brazen when it comes to their career, because having such a serious sign in its rulership can really create someone who wants to build a steady, firm, and stable career. These people really believe in status. They are career-driven, career-minded, and even if they're in a creative field, they want to be at the top of their field, and they feel motivated to do so. These people can rise to leadership positions in the organization because they can be fearless, and they also can have the confidence to lead a team. And not only that, they have this, earth sign, structured earth sign in the home of career. So these people really can experience a stable job situation or long-term career because they just know how to build. And the public also sees them as someone serious and business-minded and just a go-getter. So it kind of comes more naturally to them. So in the 11th house, we have Aquarius, and that's the Aquarius house. So very, very, this kind of goes back to the 5th house energy and the 3rd house energy with Gemini and Leo. When you have Aquarius in the 11th house, these people are also want to make connections. They want to connect with others. They want to have a lot of friends. They want to really be known in their field. So these people are always out there going to networking events, meeting new people, meeting people through work, connecting other people. These people can also be really good connectors, and setting up people with other people. These people also could be great at philanthropic endeavors. Having Aquarius in the 11th house, these people also could want to do work that benefits other people, that benefits the collective. They could want to do something that helps elevate the vibration of the collective as a whole. So these people are really also geared toward being social and other people, and really making those connections. It can really be prompted to do that. So the last house, this is the Pisces house, and of course, our Aries rising friends have Pisces in the 12th house. So this is also depends on what planets are placed here, but this is another spiritual placement. This is really the house of endings and things that are hidden. So, kind of going along with the 9th house energy, these people could also have a belief in something outside of themselves, have, spiritual beliefs and thoughts, depending on if they have planets placed in this house. It could be things, even though they're such an outgoing, fiery ascendant, they also could have certain things that they keep hidden or keep secret, or parts of themselves they don't want to show to the outside world. These people also could have some intuitive, psychic type of energy and be able to feel what's going on when they enter a room, have some empathic ability when you have Pisces in the 12th house, and especially if you have the moon or sun placed in the 12th house. If you're Aries rising, you definitely have some access to another world and I think also they could also be very service oriented. They could, you know, work as a nurse or work in a helping profession. Seeing that Pisces is also a very empathetic sign. So some type of helping role could also be something that fulfills them as well. So very interesting, Aries rising people. Yeah, so that's our first cardinal sign.